Hey guys, I'm back at the Honda Odyssey. I cut the belt off. That's why the belt's laying here. This back cam turns no problem. What I found was the belt was still intact. Both these cams were still in time from each other. It tore the teeth off. It tore these teeth off down there at the bottom on the crankshaft pulley. Well, I'm like, well, what would cause that? So I get in here and I'm like, let me check these cams. That one moves no problem. Front one, she ain't moving. And I'm pulling on that thing extremely hard and it ain't moving. So what I found was they ran it low on oil. So it dropped oil pressure and seized the cam up in the head. So I'm going to attempt to pull this valve train off, all these rocker arms, see what the hell it's done to this cam, and see if I can get the cam out of it. Otherwise I'm going to be changing the head. But I would prefer to rebuild this head if I have to. What happened is these cam bearings are seized down in here. Right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So somewhere in that line there, I think there's a bearing there too. It's seized up in the bearing. So I'll be back at it and show you how it's going. I got everything all tore down, like I said, and I was just like thinking, man, there had been a reason why it tore the teeth off just the crank. And usually that's because the cam stops rotating. Because I had a Chrysler. Oh, what was that? It was like the first year they made the minivan, 84, 83, something like that, early 80s, that I had gotten for 250 bucks, and it did the same thing. Black oil to the top of the head, and they don't have bearings in the Chryslers. I don't know how these work. I don't know if it's just aluminum right on the cam or if there's actual bearing material, but Chrysler didn't use bearing material, and what happened was something got in the bearing, either lack of oil pressure or something, but it actually rolled up a piece of aluminum to the crank, to the cam, and then snapped the cam gear pulley end off right here where the cam pulley is. It snapped it clean off the cam and bet the valve. So I got it for 250 bucks, went to the junkyard, grabbed another head, threw another head on there, and gave it to my mom, and she drove it for years and then got rid of it. Okay guys, I'll be back at it. Okay guys, I got the new head from the junkyard on. I've still got to torque it, but it's just sitting on there at the bolt snug down. It did not bend any valves in either head, as you can see. No bent valves in that one. That's the junk one. Cam will not come out, cannot rotate it, so I went down. Got one off of a running 04 Odyssey. Man, they get you hard on these heads. $300 for a used head. That head, I already bore scoped it, checked it. Everything's fine in that head. It didn't bend any valves. So, the next thing I got to do is go get a gasket for the water pipe, crossover pipe for the heads. And then I've got to change this. This is the fuel rail that came with it. Of course, you know, they just cut it off. I got to undo that, undo this wiring harness, put this wiring harness on. And O-rings, I gotta put, ooh, things look nasty. Damn. Those injectors are freaking filthy. I think I'm gonna clean them before I stick them back in. They look pretty bad. And then, yeah, if they wouldn't have cut it off. Anyhow, I'm gonna pop those injectors out. Those look better than those. I may just switch them to the rail, pull those out, and switch them over. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'll see when I get them apart. But I just want to show you guys how it went. So far, so good. And like I said, on these Odysseys, the J series, you kind of have a 50-50 chance of whether you bend the valves. I think it has a lot to do if it isn't on VTEC. The valves aren't open as far as they are on VTEC for as long as, you know, because it's got a little more lift and a little more duration, so the valves are open a little farther and longer. So I think that's where the guys are bending the valves when they're up on VTEC. So thank God it didn't have any bent valves in the other head, and those guys sold me the That's the rocker assembly off this head. When they sold me the head, oh, something else you guys do not have to do. You don't have to pull the rocker assemblies off to pull these heads. The junkyard pulled the rocker assembly off and lost every single lock pin for the VTEC and the bolt. So I just took everything off that rail, pins out of that rail, and one nut or one bolt that was missing for it, put it on. And I may do a valve glass adjustment once I get it together. At least check it. And you guys know how to do these. What you do is you put the cam off the lobe where there's no lifter pressure. Like, which one was? I haven't got it. I don't know. Anyhow, you get that cam turned where it's off the lobe, and then you crack the nut loose, which is your lock nut, and then you can adjust your valve to lifter, or well, valve to rocker lash right here with a feeler gauge, and then you just tighten this nut up. But that's how you adjust it. Alright guys, I'll be back at it.